Hello and welcome to Barron's Restaurant at the Conrad Inn Hilton College of Hotel and Restaurant Management at the University of Houston. My name is Christy Baker and I'm one of the lecturers here. Here in Barron's, we teach students how to run and manage a restaurant from the front of the house to the back of the house. I've created several short training segments on how to provide proper service in the front of the house setting. Today's segment will be about the specifics of offering dessert and then bringing the check. It sounds simple, but there's lots of things that we need to cover. When you can tell the guests are finished with their entree, we want to prepare to clear the course and suggest dessert. Suggested selling is not just asking guests if they've saved room for dessert. We want to paint a picture for them, tantalizing their taste buds and encouraging them to order a dish that they just can't afford to miss. Here in Barron's, we encourage the servers to clear the entrees while they're suggesting the dessert. This allows them to multitask and save time later on. For example, I'm going to demonstrate how to clear the table while offering one of our popular desserts, Death by Chocolate. Ma'am, may I clear your plate? While I'm clearing, let me tell you all a little bit about our dessert today. Our dessert is Death by Chocolate. It's created in-house by one of our chefs. It has layers of white chocolate custard, dark chocolate ganache, rich chocolate chips, and it's got fine cocoa powder dusted across the top, and then drizzled with a little bit more chocolate ganache. This is a very rich dish, so you may want to share one or two, or if you each want to order your own, I can definitely provide to-go cups if you're unable to finish it. It's so delicious though, so you don't want to miss it. You have to at least order one. That is suggested selling. You hook them in, you paint a picture, and then you tell them that they just can't miss it. It's that good. Of course, the decision is still theirs. I like to base the question on how many would they like to order versus would you like one. Never give the guests the chance to say no. Give them the opportunity to order one or two. Of course, the guests can always say no, but we don't ever want to pose the question in that way. So would y'all like to go with 1, 2, or 4? When taking a dessert order, we also want to offer the guests coffee or tea. Several guests may just order coffee or tea, but usually when guests order dessert, they like to order something to go along with it. A nice finish to the meal, if you will. We want to ask each guest in turn if they would like coffee rather than addressing the table as a blanket statement. So if they decline dessert, then you can say, "Ma'am, did you care for any coffee? Any for you, ma'am? Sir? Sir?" If they're saying no, simply move quickly around the table. If they are ordering coffee or tea, you need to ask those follow-up questions, such as, would you like creamer for coffee? If you have decaf coffee in your restaurant, you would also want to specify if they would like regular or decaf. If they order hot tea, you want to find out what type. Here in Barron's, we have black tea and green tea. And then we also want to find out if they would like creamer, honey, or lemon with their tea, and then bring that out. For more information on proper beverage service, see the segment on beverage service. Once we have the guest dessert and beverage order, we're going to go to the side station and bring it into the point-of-sale system and begin getting their coffee and hot tea together. We want to have the dessert delivered within 2 to 4 minutes. So when we bring out the hot coffee or tea, we also want to bring the sharing plates and additional forks or spoons, depending on what the dessert at your restaurant requires. Here in Barron's, it fluctuates what you would serve with dessert because our desserts change on a weekly basis. There's an entire training segment over proper table service, how to pre-bus from the entree course, how to pre-set for the dessert course, and so on and so forth. Please refer to that video for more information on proper table service. From now, we're going to move on as if the table has been pre-set for dessert and that dessert has been delivered. We want to check back with the guest within 2 minutes or 2 bites. This is also true for appetizer or entree courses. We don't want to wait too long to find out that something is wrong with the food or that the guest is missing an item that they would like to be able to enjoy their food more. You want to read your table though. If it's been a couple of minutes and no one's taken a bite, still go over, but don't ask the question, how is everything, or how is the food? We want to ask the question, is everything okay, or are y'all needing anything else at this time? If the guests immediately jump in and start eating once the food is delivered, you might not want to wait 2 minutes. You would want to come back within a couple of bites to make sure that everything was prepared to their liking. You can also make sure at this time if the guests need anything else before stepping away and monitoring the table from a distance. When doing the 2-minute 2-bite check back for dessert, we want to be prepared to drop the check. We'll ask them if the dessert was as great as you described it. And then we'll put the check down and say, there's no rush, I'll take care of this whenever you're ready. You then continue to monitor the table. You can usually tell when a guest has put in their payment. They'll either turn it sideways or move it from its original position. You can then come by and pick it up in a timely manner, process the payment, and then return any change or receipts that the guest needs to sign along with the pen back to the table, thanking them for their visit and encouraging them to return again. Thank you so much for dining with us. We hope you'll join us again soon. When clearing entrees and describing the dessert to the guest, we also want to have the check ready, just in case they decline dessert. If that were the case, we would clear the entrees, ask for their dessert order, they tell us no, we offer coffee and tea, they tell us no again, we then simply set down the check and let them know that we'll take care of it whenever they're ready. Things proceed just as we discussed before. We would pick up the check within a couple of minutes, process it, and return it back to the guest. If you have split checks at the table, you want to provide a check presenter for each of the guests. After you process the initial payment, you want to return the check presenter to the proper guest and a pen to each guest. If you only have 3 pens and there's 4 people at the table, borrow one, or provide as many pens as you can. Once the guest has signed the check or received their change, you're in essence done with that table. We would continue to offer refills, maintain the table, and pre-bus any items that are no longer in use, up until the time that the guest leaves. Please make sure and thank your guests for their dining at our restaurant. They've spent their money and their time here, and we hope they've enjoyed it. We want them to come back and to tell their friends, so we want to give them a warm greeting on the way out the door.
When you notice that most of the guests at the table are finished eating, you want to go over to the table and offer to clear the entree course. You also want to upsell dessert at this point, making sure that we're actually describing the dessert rather than just asking the guest if they care to have dessert or if they saved room for dessert. We also want to ask the guests if they would care for hot coffee or hot tea at this point. If everyone declines coffee and dessert at the table, you want to be ready to drop the check. If they order dessert, you want to drop the check when you do the 2-minute 2-bite check back once the dessert has been served. Once you've dropped the check, you want to keep an eye on the table so that you can process their payment as quickly as possible. Once you've returned the check back to the guest, you want to make sure and continue to monitor the table, offering refills, pre-bussing any unused dishes, and maintaining the table to keep it free of debris and trash. Once the guests have gotten up and left, we want to clear, clean, and reset the table within 2 minutes. In Barron's, this responsibility falls to the servers. This completes this segment of training on how to take a dessert order and when to drop the check. Thank you for joining me, and make sure and check out the other training videos on YouTube.